It is not enough to simply go through the motions of life. We must make every effort to reach our highest potential. This is the pursuit of anime, an aim to explore philosophical topics through the medium of anime, to create discussion and to enlighten ourselves. We are by no means professionals, and the content of this podcast is pure discussion meant to stimulate and exercise our minds and hopefully yours too. Now, you're joined here today by myself, Raven, and Teddy.
Hello.
And we're here to talk to you about the power of effort, how effort can change our lives, what is effort, um, and of course, anime along the way. Now, just to kick us off, Teddy, what kind of is effort to you? What role does it play in your life?
I mean, it's pretty. I feel like it's a day-to-day kind of thing because even if you go through life and have a very set routine, you still have to put in a minimum amount of effort in everything you do, whether it be getting out of bed and you know going through your daily activities. It does require effort. Like you're exerting yourself to do those things. So I feel like it's just an inherent part of human experience. It's different when we talk about achieving certain particular goals that require you to put an extraneous amount of effort beyond just the basic amount that you go for, like, daily activities. And for me, it's just kind of, it's something that, how can I phrase this? So think of it like I only really notice it when it comes to me working towards a particular goal or milestone because you put effort in almost like if you move, if you do anything, if you live life, you're putting in effort, right? But I never noticed that. The kind that I notice is usually if I'm working towards something that I need to apply myself to achieve, then I notice the amount of effort that I put in, so to speak. So if I had to sum it up, I guess it would be the the time and energy I apply towards a particular goal. That's what I would define as effort in my eyes.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, and also like I guess it you are right when you say it applies to like many aspects of life. I know in my journey in the gym, right? I started off when I was young doing these big epic like 3-hour workouts, and I would go into the gym in the morning like early, like 8 7 8 a.m. and get out at 10 a.m. 11 a.m. and I would just do like these hard grueling workouts. I would do the main lifts. I would do squats, bench, deadlifts, some overhead press, and mostly free weight exercises. All these barbell exercises are the hardest exercises that you can do, and I would do them for sets upon sets at a high weight, and and I made a lot of results doing that, right?
Yeah.
But eventually I hit a plateau, and I got introduced basically to this training style from Mike Menser and Dorian Yates, which is basically a lower volume, higher intensity training. So I noticed that when I was training before, when I had first started training, I was coasting through the workouts. Sure, they were hard, but there wasn't a single set that I was nearly reaching max capacity of what I can handle, you know?
Mm.
Now, the concept that Mike Menser had was that you should be going into the gym and focusing on the quality instead of the quantity. Now, the quality being that you would go into the gym, you would do just one exercise for each body part for one set for about 6 to 12 reps. But that one set and those 6 to 12 reps would be executed at the most maximum output that you could possibly handle. So that means that once you hit that whatever sixth rep or eighth rep, you could physically do no more. You completely exerted yourself. You put the maximum amount of amounts of effort that you could possibly give that day. And so um I experimented with that training, and I realized that I I got basically the same results, if not better, than I was training like 5, 6 days a week, 3 hours a day. I would go into the gym, train 1 day a week for maybe 45 minutes to an hour a week and get the same results, if not better. And I guess the reason why I'm kind of illustrating this is that to point out that there's different kinds of effort that you can put in, right? And I guess that kind of goes into my next question. How does effort look in your life? Like I'll put it this way. If you could point out an anime character that you see them and you're like, yeah, I relate to them and how they put the work in. Like for example, Luffy and Zoro in One Piece, they have very different effort. Zoro will wake up in the morning, he'll start lifting 1,000 pounds. Luffy doesn't do that. You know? He only puts the
Yeah.
effort in when like kind of when he sees the obstacle in front of him. So what kind of effort does yours look like in an anime character basically?
For me, it's just like when you're trying to be better, like become a better version of yourself, and dedicating yourself to that cause. And it doesn't matter necessarily like the the nature of the effort. It's more so, are you doing it with a clear intent and purpose? And do you know where you're headed? Like, even going back to the example that you just mentioned with working out, right? I think what you're referring to is, there's a term for it. It's called mind muscle connection, where when you're lifting, you're making sure to target exactly the area of your body you're trying to get stronger, you're trying to grow, right? It's a big, very big difference between just lifting dumbbells and then lifting with that maximum contraction, trying to work a particular muscle, right? So that's why even in anime, like you see with Zoro, the kind of training he does is particularly for his brand of sword fighting, right? And that's, I think that's why, one of the reasons why he's so beloved as a character is because, out of everybody on the Straw Hat crew, he's probably the one that we notice the most, like, actively working hard towards achieving his goal on a consistent basis. I'm not saying you don't see the other Straw Hats do that, but for him, it's a lot more noticeable. It's a lot more prominent. But one guy in particular who fascinates me with his dedication to bettering himself through hard work and dedication is uh Shigeo from Mob Psycho. He
Yeah.
does this thing where, like, what amazes me about him is that he has the opportunity to coast through life because his psychic powers are absolutely insane. In his own verse, he is undisputed. People even know, like, we need to make sure never to push this man to his maximum potential, because we don't even know what that looks like. We don't know that there is a max. Kind of like Saitama. Like, this man might just be, infinitely strong. So he has psychic powers, which in his case is even better than just being like, basically, just having basic physical strength, because he can apply that to damn near all aspects of his life. So he truly could coast through life, but you know what? He chooses not to, because he feels, and this is another thing that I really appreciate about him too, is his level of self-awareness, where he realizes, if you strip my powers away, I am nothing. I am I'm lacking in many respects. I need to work at it. I need to
Yeah.
get better. And you see him with the body improvement club. You see him with, you know, it, it- working on his bonds, like with family and friends, trying to mend his relationship with his brother and things like he's the embodiment, I feel like, in anime, of somebody who understands his shortcomings and works hard towards overcoming them or proving them. Even in season 3, when he's trying to confess his love to this girl, like everything, every aspect of his life is I need to put in the effort to get better. And you see, it's so amazing to watch his journey from the first episode of season 1 to the end, where you see him come into his own and build a like a social circle around him where people find him appealing as a person because of how he carries himself, because he actually actively tries. Doesn't always succeed, but at least he tries and he never gives up. And that is unbelievably inspiring and motivating to me. And that's like, if you ask me who's my poster boy for uh, hard work and effort in anime, I'll tell you in a heartbeat, like Mob. Mob is that guy. I don't know, like if you have somebody like that that you look at and think, yeah, this is my guy right here.
Yeah, I think like the person I relate to most in anime for like effort and kind of how effort looks like in my life is Eiichiro from Baby Steps, the main character of Baby Steps. It's a very obscure
Yo,
anime.
I swear you break my ankles every time you mention him because I forget that you actually know about baby steps. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of anime, man. I've watched, I think, like in the thousands at least. Like it's just crazy.
In the
I have a list.
thousands,
I have
I
a
don't
list,
know.
bro. I've
I
watched a
have a
lot.
list too, but I don't know that I have 1,000, bro. The problem is that I also forget some because during my hard otaku years, I watched too much, and now I'm like low key rediscovering stuff. But I'm like, oh wait, I've watched that before. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like you remember. Yeah, that happens to me too. Where like even though I have a list, there's some that like I just forget because like I put it in the list. I didn't put like the English name. I put like the Japanese name, and so like I just forget. I disassociate with it, and I just like end up rediscovering it. But for me, Eiichiro from Baby Steps, I think I relate to him the most because like he like to put it into perspective, right? If you compare him to like Hinata from Haikyuu or is it Kagami from Kuroko,
Yeah.
they're gonna go into the training session. They're gonna go into like the sport, and they're gonna be shouting, hooting, hollering. They're gonna be so motivated to get up, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, that's just not me, you know. I wake up in the mornings, I'm still tired. I want to sleep another 15 more minutes. You know, I don't want to start the day. You know, I'm not that I guess hyperactive about like doing things, right? But when I get started doing things, I do get into it. I do get you know, methodical about it, and I do start to exert a lot of effort mentally and physically into whatever I'm actually putting my heart into. If I actually come to love something, I will put everything into it, and that's I think what you see with this main character, where he is not gifted at tennis. You know, he's not like Hinata. He just walks in and he has something that he's like he you know he's
Like
an
a
ace in the
natural
hole.
talent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Kagami, where he's just a big, like, massive dude who he's gonna shoot fucking 3 pointers
To
with
be
the
fair,
strength of a
like
thousand
side
oxes.
tangent, bro. Side
Yeah,
tangent. Kagami, Loki, he ain't even that talented, bro. He just jumps high.
yeah, he just
He
jumps
just
on
throws
it,
it,
and
like
he's huge. That's it. Like,
like the generation of miracles, they were the freaks. Like they were the ones like anomalies. This dude just comes
yeah,
here like, yeah, I can jump high. Okay.
but
Like I don't
you know how that is in anime.
but yeah, he's also like
The
naturally
villains
athletic
all
and everything.
the villains always get like the coolest, most like intricate powers, and then the hero will have like the most simple, like basic, like it's like ridiculous. They'll have the most simple power that like I don't know, and they'll still find some way to beat like these like ungodly otherworldly abilities.
But you know
But
what's weird though?
yeah.
Like Kuroko, he's physically not as imposing as Kagami, but I like his ability better. The fact that he can just be a ghost on the court and pass the ball around, you don't even know what happened.
Oh
You just
yeah,
see the ball move. You're like,
that's
whoa,
interesting.
what? But yeah,
Yeah, and even he put some effort into learning how to actually at least shoot
the fact
like
that yeah,
you know, score,
that was
uh,
amazing.
shoot through the hoops. So like with Ichiro from Baby Steps, right? Like you see him training, and he doesn't really even know anything about tennis, and he starts training. I remember there was this episode where they were showing him like how to use the free weights. He had never done it before, and he sucked at it, but he just kept going. And there were days that he felt horrible. There was days that he wanted to quit, but he still kept in it. And it wasn't for any like bombastic reason, like, oh, my mom got kidnapped by this village and she's being enslaved
Yeah,
and
there
I need to
wasn't
play
no
tennis to.
deep emotional reason. It's just like I just want to be good at this.
Yeah, I like this and I'm having fun with it. So, I'm just going to be good at this. And eventually he develops this kind of, ferocity that, he gets that dog in him when you see him play these, like high
Man, I'm gonna
level tennis.
rewatch Baby Steps, man. She
Yeah, because that's the thing. The dog can be cultivated in you, and the dog kind of goes hand in hand with effort. This kind of the grit that comes through cultivating effort. Um, but yeah, baby steps for me was a big one.
and I
Uh,
like I like that you bring up this example too, because one thing that I noticed with him, and you notice that too in some other sports anime, is that you get to see the journey of putting in effort towards anything for what it is. It is frustrating. It is painful. It's not pretty. You will go through some hard times that will make you question why you're even doing what you're doing in the first place.
yeah,
But
and you
you
know what?
stick with it. Mhm.
And you know what? Like, I think also another point. One of the reasons why I brought this up, now I'm just remembering now, is that like effort and as you were speaking, I'm kind of noticing it too. Effort looks different to people, right? So when you think of effort, like some of the top examples, you think of like the main character gritting their teeth, right? Like Luffy had to make a big effort to beat Lucci, right?
Oh,
He didn't need
ungodly effort.
yeah, he didn't need any effort to beat Bluno, but he needed a lot to beat Lucci, right? Like to the point that he was literally like falling over after the fight and he couldn't get up. So we associate that with effort. So if you see a person like Ichiro from Baby Steps, you might look at him and be like, well, I mean, what kind of effort is this guy giving? This guy is not even breaking a sweat. But a concept that I've been introduced to at work. I work in restaurants, right? And a common thing that I found among restaurants that I've worked at is managers telling you, hey, look busy. I've even been pulled into offices before
I
and
hate
people
that
tell
so
me,
much.
yeah, right. Go ahead, because it seems like you had something to say about it.
No, man. I mean, I was gonna let you cook because it looked like you had your own thoughts on the matter too. But it's just that when you have me at work, right? You've decided that for these hours you need me here. I will be here. I will do the work that needs to be done, but do not ask me to look busy by doing menial tasks that have nothing to do with my job, that don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, how many times am I going to scrub the floor before you're satisfied? Okay, like, I'm sorry. I refuse. It's just a waste of my existence. Why am I here? If
Yeah,
you're gonna have me on this side, and then you're gonna have the audacity to cut my hours when you say, "Oh, we need to be here," and if you don't look busy, that means we don't need you in there.
yeah, bruh.
One day, just one day, I wish that I could have the opportunity to be like when it gets really busy, way past my the hours I'm supposed to be there. I just finish my shift and I walk away and have the manager or something call me like, hey yo, can you stay a little bit longer because we're kind of swamped right now. We're really, really busy and we could use your help. I will turn back around and look at them and say, um, nah, you look busy, man. I'm good. I finished what I came here to do. When you don't need me, you cut me out. And then when you need me, you want me to come here? What's the incentive? Get that
Yeah,
double
and
standard out of my face. I'm done.
they just want you to like come up with things to do. It's almost like meaningless effort or effortless effort. Like it's just ridiculous. And the reason why I bring that up is because like so I've been called into offices before, and managers will tell me like, oh, you just don't look like you have any urgency in you. I need to see like, that worry in your face, when something goes bad on the floor, like when you're serving tables, like I need to see that urgency. Like I just don't see it. I don't see you panicking. I don't see like and just and I'm like my thought is like, dude, like so you are chastising me because I'm not a bumbling,
Because I'm a
buffoon.
smooth criminal,
Yeah,
because I'm
because
smooth with it, I'm efficient. I
yeah.
don't trip. Is that the
Yeah, I don't
problem?
trip because I don't have freaking like almost morbid anxiety. Like, God forbid that I'm not freaking busting at the seams with fucking with low self-esteem and anxiety over every
They
little
want, they
thing that
want to
comes
see
my
you
way.
have the shakes as you're working to feel
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're really working now.
And
Like, bro.
it's a toxic atmosphere because there are people on the floor like that could have anxiety, and if you say things like that, it's gonna make it even worse for them. Like it's just an awful. So basically, what happened recently is we got a new manager at my job, and she comes up to me one day, and it's kind of busy, but I'm coasting. You know, I've been working there for a few not a like a few like a long few months. It's almost been a year now, so I'm very experienced. I'm one of the most experienced there, and I kind of know how to handle, like a busy push. And she comes up and she sees me kind of coasting. All the tables are good. I know what to do. I put myself in this position to be able to just chill for a bit. And she's like, "Oh, well, you got to do something. You got to look busy. You got to, you know, like it doesn't look like you're doing anything. Like, where's the urgency?" And I'm like, "Well, um, my effort is not gonna look how you want it to look." And so she told me something along the lines of, "Well, you have to look more urgent. You have to do this. You have to do that." And I told her like this is actually something I said to her. I said that I refuse. I'm not gonna change who I am and how basically how much effort I put into things to fit your idea of effort. So I
This
think
is true.
that's an important thing to highlight, that for people listening and even just for us, that even though sometimes you feel like you're not putting effort, like you're not gritting your teeth, you're not sweating, you're not like losing 20 pounds in 1 week, effort is still effort, and effort is going to look different for everybody, and you don't have to move a mountain in a day in order for you to have put effort in.
No,
Effort can be the
that's
small
true.
changes.
That's the reality, you know, and that's why it's like, even going back to that example you just mentioned with that manager that's on your back, talking about, hey, you need to move with a sense of urgency. Listen, man, I can still have urgency and not rush. Y'all seem to think that those are mutually inclusive. They're not. So, get right with it. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely, man. Like, effort is just not, it's not a one size fits all type of deal. Everybody, depending on your natural predisposition and also what you aspire to be and do with your life, effort is not going to be the same for everybody. Like, even, um and I don't know if you watch um this anime. Well, I think you did, Ace of
Which one?
Diamond.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. With what's
Yeah.
the main character's name? Sawamura?
Adrian somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a
And
while.
I forget the name of his rival in that show. I think it's Fu something. Like, his name starts with that. They said his name so many times. I knew it when I was watching it, but then I forgot.
Yeah,
But basically, right, those two, they're putting insane amount of efforts because they both want to be the ace of their team, right?
yeah.
Be the ace pitcher. But the thing is, when you watch both of them train, they don't look like they're putting the same amount of effort. From an outsider's perspective looking in, you think that Adrian is putting 100 times more effort in
I think
than
it's Furia. Furia.
Furia. Yes,
Yeah,
that's why I said, like, it started with food, because I remember the first syllable, but then I didn't remember the rest of it. Thank you,
yeah.
coming in clutch. Yeah, so when you watch them, you think that Adrian is putting way more effort into it, because you get to see him go through trials and tribulations, get denied so many times, but he still maintains his cool amidst the hardship. But Furia seems like he's coasting. Like, he is also training, putting in effort, but he feels like he's coasting in comparison, because it looks different for both of them. But then you look at the results, like, Furia is he became the ace before Adrian. And to be fair, he also had a little bit of talent, more innate talent than Adrian, but still doesn't change the fact that he was putting in effort. But then you look at them and think, ah, he's not trying as hard because he doesn't look like he's trying as hard. It's like, no, it's different for everyone. Okay. So you can't just have like a blanket kind of expectation for everybody. Say, if I don't see you stress out this much, or I don't see you sweat out this much, or this and that, you're not trying. It's like, no, that's just not the reality, you know. So no, I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think maybe it comes from like a human desire to just want to exaggerate things, to want to like create hyperboles and like inflate things where we like it's all or nothing for a lot of us, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, it's kind of seems to be seeping into our culture with entrepreneurship, right? Like, if you're not in your 20s and you don't have a, if you're in your 20s and you don't have a business, or if you're not 30, and I mean, if you are 30 and you don't have like $400,000 in your Roth IRA, if you are 40 years old and you don't have 10 houses in 50 in like in a few different states, three different states, then you haven't really done anything. You know, it's just all or
What
nothing.
color is your Bugatti?
Yeah, what color is your Bugatti? Like you should have one already. Like it's this kind of all or nothing mentality that kind of skews and gives us an unhealthy view on effort and on life and on the stages of life, and for everybody everything's going to be different, you know?
Yeah, the main thing is just trying to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah. Now
Like,
what
are you better today than you were yesterday? That's the
yeah.
question. And if you are, then your effort is paying off. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
Now, what would you say to like people, or even to like a past version of yourself, to like maybe might be saying like, well, I don't know, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't really have anything I'm passionate about. Like, how can I start making an effort in my everyday life? Like, even just in simple ways. Like, what would that look like, Teddy? What can you do?
Uh Man, shit. I'll just tell them to trust the process,
Yeah,
because what it comes down to is a need that you find for yourself or your life to be better. If you have no passions and you have no desires to be anything in life, and you don't see that as a problem, and you're able to go through life that way, that's just the way it's going to be. If you see it as a problem to the point that it starts to affect you physically, I'm talking you have physical anger from the fact that you lack drive, vision, passion, and everything, you will find something,
yeah,
because it will force you to step out of your comfort zone. It'll force you to do things that you wouldn't do normally, because you feel like this is not good enough. This can't be it. This can't be my life,
yeah,
right? And it will create a sense of frustration that will force you to go out there, to put in that work, to start doing something, anything, because anything is better than the state you were in before.
yeah,
So you start with that and then you go from it. That's why I never tell somebody, because everybody is different. Everybody has a different breaking point. Everybody has a different reason why they want to put in effort to do anything. So I'll just tell them, listen, man, what it comes down to at the end of the day is you. You need to be pissed off enough at your own situation that you're willing to change.
yeah,
Nobody else can do that for you. So when people go in great depth about the advice they give some people, they try to be motivational, inspirational. No, because all like this is just nice sounding words. Yes, it can inspire somebody for a little bit. It can motivate them for a little bit, but it's not going to be sustainable because it's not coming from them. It has to come from them. And the only way to do that is to reflect the question or situation onto them. Be like, look within yourself. Look
yeah,
at your state. Are you happy with this? If the answer is no, you know what you need to do. If the answer is yes, hey, live your life. No, it's just
yeah.
that simple.
And this is the thing too. Like, I was watching this video on Instagram the other day where they were showing these kids lining up to buy some Jordans. I think it was in New York. And these kids were like up at like 6 a.m., bro, or like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., tenting out to buy some Jordans. And I remember someone commented like a joke, like, if only these kids put the same amount of effort into their studies, they would make so much money that they could buy the whole company. You know what I'm saying, Nike? And it's true. Like, the amount of effort you put in can completely change who you are as a person. And I feel like knowing where what's worth putting effort in is valuable too. Because a lot
Wait,
of people,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, no, go. What were you kind of
No,
thinking
because
about?
I think you're about to go to where I was gonna say, so go ahead.
Okay. So basically, like, I honestly forgot already.
My fault, my fault.
You're good.
I
It's
just
not
got
even you.
really into it. I just got
It's
because
not
what I
even.
was gonna say,
Yeah.
right, is like, yeah, like what they said is true. I was gonna ask you to run that back when they say, oh, if they put that much effort into, it's like, yeah, it's because they're not passionate about the other stuff. If you find a way to make them passionate about something, yes, then they're going to put in the effort to become successful and make all that money. And I think that's what you were going to. It's like,
Yeah.
if I don't see any worth in it for me to do it, why should I? So
Why
of
should
course
I?
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna put in the effort because I don't see how it's going to benefit me. I don't see like I don't want anything from this. Like I don't I'm not driven by this. So I don't want to put in effort because it doesn't, it's like, I mean, we see this in school every time. Everybody has different subjects that resonates with them, right? Sometimes the teacher makes a certain subject sound or seem appealing, and so it makes you want to put in effort. Other times it's just something that you like about a particular subject that makes you want, like some people, they have a natural predisposition for physics, other people for literature, things of that nature. So at that point they want to put in that effort because it's something that they're passionate about. So I think there's a very strong link between your passion and how much effort you're putting into achieving certain things.
Yeah. That's true. I think it can be unhealthy, like when you put too much effort into things that are like negative or just not. You shouldn't be giving that much importance to. Like I know people that, like. I mean, Beyonce had a concert recently. There's a lot of people they like. They're back. They're how do you say that? Back due on rent. They're due on rent, right? They have like a few months due on rents already, and they're
Yeah.
out here wasting money on Beyonce. If you would allocate that money and put the effort, the same amount of effort that you put into making it to the Beyonce concert, if you put that effort into focusing on your home, on your temple, and making sure bills are paid, your life would be much more stable. Because that does not sound stable at all. So effort I think also has to be methodical, and that's why I really resonate with like Eiichiro from Baby Steps. I feel like effort with just enthusiasm can definitely be misguided, but effort that's methodical, that's calm, cool, collected, you really think about what you're putting your effort into and why you're doing it. That can take you really far. Just like Kobe from One Piece. I mean, look at him. He had a goal. He knew he wanted to become a Marine, and he had no way to do it. But as soon as he saw there was an opportunity to do it, he did it. And he trained his butt off with Garp, with Helmeppo by his side. And I mean, look at where he's at now.
This dude, he honestly moves me because you remember what he looked like at the beginning of the story.
Oh yeah, he looked
He was so weak, meek, the
like a
just,
shrimp.
yeah, like pathetic looking loser. And he became this stud, first of all, like one of the best glow ups in all of fiction, if you ask me. Like you have a before and after picture of these guys, like that is not the same individual,
Yeah,
but it is, right? But that honesty impact that he used in that one chapter, it it damn near moved me to tears because you just have such an appreciation for how long and how gruesome, like how grueling the journey was for him, where he would punch the battleship bags until his fist would bleed, right? And he thought to himself, "This is not enough. I need to keep going because I'm way too weak. I need to catch up to everybody else here. If people are doing 100 punches a day, I need to do 200 just to be in the conversation." I'm like, that's a different kind of drive. This is a different kind of mindset, and I love it. Only thing with him is he can be a little bit too indecisive, indecisive
yeah,
at times. So it's a good thing that he had a mentor like Garb to teach him to
yeah. And
take
Helmeppo,
action when he needs to.
mentor like Helmeppo.
Hey, shout out to the brother, man. Like MF was also like this dude was man, he is a clown
He
for
was a
some reason.
he
He's a
was a
freaking
scrub.
absolute scrub. But yeah, he's doing his thing now too. Like he looks cool. I mean, the double chin stayed, but at least
Yeah.
everything else looks a little better. But
Was it him? He knocked out his own dad, right, on the boat? Like he stood up to
um
his dad before
I
he
think
went to with
so.
Kobe. That
Yeah,
wasn't in the
yeah.
live action, I think. Or does that happen later? Like I don't know.
I don't know because I feel like the live action they took many liberties because um Morgan was strung up on that cross in the yard, right?
Yeah.
But then Kuro was the one we saw getting away the same way that we saw Morgan getting away from Garp in the cover story. So I don't know. I don't know. They might link up at some point, Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Kuro though. Love
And it's
seeing it.
crazy, like think about characters that like they have a dream, right? Like Luffy,
Yeah.
he gets the straw hat from Shanks. What is his effort to reach his dream? He doesn't really do much, man. As a kid, like he just kind of one day decides to stuff himself inside a barrel and kind of go out to sea.
I feel like he
Um,
did. We just didn't see it.
we just didn't see it.
Yeah, because remember when he first starts using his rubber powers, he doesn't know how to even throw a punch. But then we see him one-shotting the Lord of the Coasts when he's leaving his village. So
He had to
he
have like experimented.
yeah, like experimented. And plus, mind you, he would have had to put in effort whether he wanted or not because Garp was chucking this man to the
Oh
wild
yeah,
beasts
yeah,
and
yeah.
in the forest back in the day. So it's like
Yeah, he
my
was already
brother,
fighting.
yeah, he was fighting for his life, literally. It's like, yo, I can't like that's what when he saw, I think in the back in Enya's lobby when he first sees he first sees Garb, he freaks out. He's like, "Hey, yo!" He get that PTSD from all
Yeah,
the times he got thrown to the wilderness back in Fushi. So
and you look at
yeah,
also like who is it? Who was I just thinking about? Oh man. Oh, Gon from Hunter x Hunter, right?
gosh,
Gon. He has a dream of becoming a hunter, and his effort, like to most people, just looks like nothing. Like I mean, he catches a big fish, leaves his village, and then goes in the hunter exam, and he basically, he kind of coasts for a bit, and to him, his effort is very adventurous. It's just,
that's what I was going to say.
but then when he hits the obstacle, though, like Hisoka, he's willing to train his butt off. Like when he was training to get Nen, he trained hard. So that's a good kind of example of effort as well. Seeing Gon just kind of going through life, and not every effort is going to be the same. There's going to be some efforts that are kind of just more on the adventurous side, kind of like Luffy going into the barrel. He doesn't really have a plan. He knows he wants to do something, and he knows this is generally what he's gonna have to do to accomplish it. So he
Mhm.
just kind of takes the leap of faith, and sometimes effort is gonna go hand in hand with taking a leap of faith.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And you have to and I feel like this goes for many people in our society today where sometimes even just the thought of effort scares some people. Like the idea of putting in that work towards anything is a daunting proposition for some people, and you have to understand there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a reward there, and you should be keeping that in mind as you go through it. That I'm working towards something. There's something that I desire, and this journey is necessary for me to get to that reward, and that's why I'm doing it. I
Yeah,
feel like sometimes people get so caught up in the process and how grueling it can be sometimes that they don't realize that, wait a minute, there is yet light at the end of the tunnel, right? Just because I can't see it now doesn't mean it's not there. It's a long journey. It's a very long and dark tunnel. Sometimes you're gonna have some detours. Sometimes somebody's gonna dangle a light in front of you, and you're gonna think, "Oh, that's it, that's the exit." Like, no, that's a shortcut. That's not worth your while turn around, go back on the on your path, you know? Like
Yeah.
I look at somebody like Naruto. I'm so proud of him. I really am. Words cannot describe it. He went from a lonely kid that would be sitting on swings by himself, living in a dingy apartment, surviving off of expired milk and top ramen noodles, to living in a proper house with a proper wife and kids. Shout out to Hinata for giving him these beautiful children, but he really it's the classical from rags to riches story. But you see, I mean, I don't know about you. I grew up with Naruto damn near. Like I feel like we kind of both went on this journey, you know, explore, like finding ourselves and overcoming obstacles that came along the way. And this dude, he really wanted to become a Hokage, and he put in his all of his energy and effort towards that,
Yeah.
and he achieved it. Now, parts of the process, you know, I'm a little iffy on. I mean, the fixation on Sasuke was at some point. I mean, I understood where it stemmed from, and I wish that Kishimoto would have brought that back around like more often throughout the story, because Naruto only says it, I think, once or twice, but it's easy to forget with everything that happens, because he says, "If I can't even bring one person back home, how am I supposed to be a Hokage? Like, how is anyone supposed to take me seriously if I can't even do this one thing?" Turns out this one thing is actually extremely hard to do, but he made it happen regardless at the end. But I feel like it would have been nice if that that connection was made more apparent, because a lot of people sometimes they dismiss Naruto. They're like, "Oh no, he just had an obsession with Sasuke. That's why like things worked out." It was like, no, he made a direct correlation between that and becoming, you know, Hokage. So, but he put in that work, man. You
Yeah.
cannot deny that he put in that work, and he made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, people forget like the intricacies of that. So like, I mean, the Uchiha were part of the Leaf Village, you know, and
Yeah,
Sasuke leaving directly kind of, if he leaves, he's the last Uchiha, right? Basically,
yeah,
forget Itachi because he's rogue and he's
he's
evil
a
now,
rogue.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
But Sasuke leaving basically, and you doing nothing, you just letting him go and doing nothing to help him, to help this troubled soul, this kid, is basically you as a village saying, listen, we don't give a crap about like these basically these minorities in our civilization. And as a Hokage, you're the leader of a village. You're basically the president. You know, Naruto
Hmm.
is basically Obama. And I mean, it's the same thing as like if Obama were to say, "Listen, these Native Americans, screw them. Who cares about them?" Which, of course, I mean, is kind of what's happening already. But you
Hey,
basically
yo.
see what you basically see what I'm saying, where like
Yeah.
Naruto wants to be a good Hokage. He wants to be a Hokage that actually, takes care of the people and cares for the people. And leaving Sasuke behind, basically saying, "Yeah, screw him," is basically saying, "Screw the people," And that's not who he is. That's not his dream of being Hokage.
That is
Um,
not his ninja's way.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
not his ninja way. You know what I'm saying? And Asta from Black Clover is another like cool example of that. I remember like it was real simple though, but like he had no power, right?
Yeah.
And it's time for the exam. And but even before the exam, I mean, one of the first scenes you see of him, he's like finishing up doing 1,000 handstand on like a finger, like push-ups on just one arm. And I was just like, dude, this dude, he really put the work in to like even if he wasn't gifted, even if he wasn't skilled, he put some type of work in. And he put a lot of it in that specific area. Another example I have, um, and I guess this is probably the last one I can think of. I don't know if you've seen this anime, The World God Only Knows.
Oh, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's so good. You have to see it. It's real good. It's one of my. It's actually, I don't know. I feel like I watched a lot of anime at first when I first started. Like I watched at least 10 or 12 all at the same time when I first started. So
Yo, it was insane back in the day. Tell me about it.
yeah, so I refer to a lot of them as like one of a lot of anime I refer to as one of my first. And I mean what I mean by that is that like this is one of the first like 10 or 12 anime I've watched. And The World God Only Knows was one of them. It was on YouTube at the time, the whole everything. And basically what the plot is simply this guy, he plays online dating games, right? And so one day, uh well, I won't even spoil the plot, but basically he puts a lot of effort into playing these dating games, right?
Yeah,
And one day circumstances end up making it so that he has to put in some work into actually getting some real life girls, right? Now, when he starts putting the same effort in like in real life that he usually puts in the game, you start seeing amazing things happen in the show. Like I mean, some of the scenes are incredible. It's funny. Some of them are even like inspirational and like motivational. And for me, seeing this dude, like I feel like that's very relatable because I know a lot of us play video games, right?
yeah.
I know I play video games. I was playing like Elden Ring. I've been recently playing Armored Core 6. And I put a lot of effort in those games. Those are hard games, right? There's no difficulty setting. They're hard. You had to grind the bosses. And every time I'm playing those games or I finish a boss, I kind of meditate and I think like, man, I put hours into beating that boss. It was one of the hardest bosses of all time. And
Hmm.
you know what? If I can channel that same effort that I put into playing this game, right, for
Yeah.
recreational purposes, if I can put that into an aspect of my life that I actually want to improve, like my health, my body, my skincare routine, my music, my hobbies, my my relationship with friends, family, with
Mhm.
significant others, like that can be very beneficial. I think that's something that we can look to and kind of try to cultivate within ourselves.
No, I agree 100%. And that, that goes back to what we're talking about earlier too. It's like if it's something that that matters to you or something that should matter to you and you find a way to make it something you really want to be better at, you will go places.
Yeah,
You'll be unstoppable, damn near.
yeah.
So,
But hey, man, I think I've exhausted all kind of all my points. Do you have anything else that you kind of wanna get into with this topic?
man, listen, as usual, we came into the kitchen and we cooked. I think the meal is ready, man. I think we're good.
The meal is ready, yeah, for the people right here. Hey,
Absolutely.
man, it was a great one. Thanks for joining, Teddy. Thanks for anybody who's watching.
I really do hope that people happen upon this because I feel like this could help
Yeah, and I
a
think it
lot.
was an interesting conversation. It definitely like we always open the podcast. This is just discussion. It's kind of stimulation for our minds. Like even some of these topics we haven't fully formed our opinions on. We're constantly developing, obviously, as
Oh yeah,
people. Our minds are constantly changing. So this is every much like a platform for us as is hopefully for you guys too.
that's the hope, man. That's the hope. Like we're all um growing on this journey of exploration of these different topics. We it's safe to say that there are many topics that we've already covered that are probably going to come back around depending on, especially because what happens with us sometimes we'll see we'll experience a show, a movie, or a news story that could really inspire us. And we might come on here just to talk about it, kind of like what we did with the live action, the One Piece live action, the last
Yeah,
stream. So always keep your eyes peeled for that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a great one, and I guess we're just gonna catch you on the next one, you guys. Next week we got some great topics down the
That's right.
line. So with that, we are out. Peace.
Peace.